Welcome, guys, to like the 10th or 15th or something like that live chat. I appreciate you guys already joining me. There's so much to talk about MMA related. Let me know in the chat if everything sounds good on my end because sometimes it seems like my mic doesn't want to work. So let me know in the chat if you guys can all hear me correctly. I appreciate it. There's a lot to talk about. You got the TJ Dillashaw versus Corey Sandhagen fight coming up. You have Islam number 5 in the rankings, which Dante Zero apparently wants to talk about. Uh, you just have a lot. You have a lot to talk about. And I think first off, we should talk about Islam Makhachev being number 5 in the rankings. And let me actually pull up the rankings really quick. UFC rankings. I should have had this ready to go. But the UFC updates the ranking, I think, after every card or so. They have their pool of guys vote on the rankings. But we all know that these rankings are basically meaningless. And now you have Islam Makhachev ranked number 5. You have Charles as the champion, obviously. Dustin is number 1. Justin is number 2. Beneil Dariush is number 3. Michael Chandler is number 4. And then Islam Makhachev is number 5. First off, guys, do me a favor. If you're watching this live or you're watching this in the future after it's been recorded, please go like the video. I really appreciate it. It helps support the channel. This is the first ever chat that you guys can actually send super chats if you want to. I would appreciate any of those you guys could do. But no matter what, I appreciate you guys joining me, and I love talking MMA. So we have Islam Makhachev ranked number 5. And I have a problem with this on one end, but on the other end, I feel like, it doesn't really matter because, in my opinion, the rankings don't really matter all that much. Let me make sure this is okay. I think everything's working. The rankings don't matter to me. I did a video on my channel, one of the first. I don't know if it was one of the first videos I did on my channel, but I basically said, the rankings were basically manipulated by the UFC to suit whatever needs they want, and that basically, we don't even know who's making these rankings. If you look up how are the rankings determined, rankings were generated by a voting panel made up of media members. The media members were asked to vote on who they feel are the top fighters in the UFC by weight class and pound for pound. A fighter is only eligible to vote for if they are in an active status in the UFC. First off, active status is determined by the UFC. So they can take anybody they want out of the rankings. They can have anybody they want in the rankings. Conor, I think at one point in time, hadn't fought in 2 years and was still in the rankings. A fighter can appear in more than one weight division at a time. The champion and interim champion are considered to be the top positions of their respective divisions and therefore are not eligible for voting by weight class. However, the champions can be voted for in the pound-for-pound rankings. The rankings panel, this is the interesting part, the small print at the bottom. The rankings panel is comprised of media members from the following outlets: KHON Honolulu, MMA Oddsbreaker, CFMU 93.3, and just a bunch of other basically non-existent rankings, and non-existent media, that you've never even heard of. So you're telling me that the UFC isn't manipulating this? Guys, can you let me know in the chat? Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me all right? I want to make sure everything sounds all right and that the stream is going fine. I think it is, but I just want to make sure. I'm always paranoid there's going to be some type of problem. Pull down this microphone a little bit. Okay, perfect. So you have these media members that are basically nobodies that the UFC could easily manipulate into voting who they want. So I've never believed in the rankings. I just think it's something you can reference. But I almost believe the rankings are, what's the word I'm looking for? They cause more problems than they're even worth. So you have the rankings, and it's awesome to be able to, okay, this guy's ranked number, this and that, and it's great for their promotion. But really, the only point of the rankings is for novices to kind of determine who they, without knowing the sport or, watching and following it day to day like us hardcore fans, they can kind of tell, who's supposed to be better than who. So really, the rankings are just a bunch of shit anyway. It's not really relevant to me, at least. And I just feel like, it's nice as a reference, but at the same time, the UFC gets to do whatever they want. They can only be eligible for rankings if they are determined to be in active status by the UFC. Well, what's the rules on active status? Because you guys take UFC fighters out that you don't necessarily, that you're trying to negotiate with, and that's just a weird. And then you have the problem where fighters are refusing to take fights because of lower ranked guys. You have, I'm number 3, I'm not fighting number 8, and it just causes those types of problems. And all it is for a promotional tool. I mean, when you really look at it, who really knows? When you look at some of those top guys in the division, who knows, who would win at a Michael Chandler or Dariush 3 and 4? That's a close fight. The same with Justin Gaethje in both of those. And it's just so subjective. And then you have Islam Makhachev at number 5. And again, I say the reason I'm not so outraged by it is because I don't look at the rankings as something concrete. I don't look at the rankings as some type of, like holy grail of, it's just not, to me, it's not this hard rule of the rankings mean everything. But I do get what people are saying. Because realistically, if you're looking at the rankings that way, like, okay, it's almost like playoff seeds. You're looking at it in that type of, relationship with the rankings to the fighter. How can you determine that Islam Makhachev belongs at number 5? So I'm kind of telling you both sides of it. For me, it's almost like I don't care because the rankings don't mean much to me. But at the same time, I get the people who are saying, these rankings are ridiculous, because if that system is supposed to be, have some type of integrity and merit, how can you, with your right mind, say that Islam Makhachev is clearly number 5? Because Islam Makhachev, his best win, arguably, is against Thiago Moises or Drew Dober. Hypothetically, when he beat Drew Dober was ranked, I think, number 15. He beat Thiago Moises, he's ranked number 14. So how can you tell me, with impressive performances over guys who are good, don't get me wrong, but they're not the elite of the elite, the top 10 of the weight class, how can you tell me then all of a sudden he's number 5? How can you tell me that Islam Makhachev, without a doubt, deserves to be ranked above Rafael Dos Anjos? Okay? Or even Dan Hooker, or even Conor McGregor. And you guys know how I feel about Conor McGregor. Or even Gregor Gillespie, for example, I just don't know, how you can say for sure he belongs. Now, what I really think is happening here, and hold on, let me look up one thing real quick, guys. Gregor Gillespie. I think, Gregor Gillespie, people could, you could easily make an argument, I think Gregor Gillespie is better than Islam Makhachev. Now, I'm not saying that that's the case, but, you could make that argument. Now, how can you say, you look at Islam Makhachev's resume and look at these names. Look at some of these names. And then the fact, a lot of people want to talk about someone saying, I think he was just trolling, I think it was one of you guys, saying, Islam basically KO'd Gleison Tebow, and Tebow beat Khabib back in the day, or Trinaldo or something. I don't remember who it even was at this point. So he's the best. Well, then Adrian Martins is better because he KO'd him, stiffened Islam Makhachev up. So I think this could be, I think what's really going on here, I've always believed, and by the way, guys, I haven't been reading the chat yet because I wanted to go on this rant and I get easily distracted by the chat. But how can you say that he can definitely beat some of these guys? But anyway, what I think is going on here is John Rod, you love that thumbs up. I just saw that. You love that thumbs up, my friend. I'm going to read the chat in a minute, guys. I just wanted to go on this rant without being distracted. I think maybe what the UFC is saying, and this is back to the problems of, the rankings causing issues with guys not wanting to take fights with lower ranked guys. I think this could be a case of the UFC manipulating the rankings. And now Islam is number 5, so who can say no to the number 5 fighter? Because realistically, by any means, if you're in the top 5, you should be willing to fight anybody in the top 5. I don't care if you're number 1 fighting number 5. So I think it could be one of those things where, okay, now they got Islam at number 5. And also, I find it awfully funny how, the rankings are borderline mirroring the hype of certain people, and I know that has a relationship there, but a lot of that hype is built on UFC narrative, the UFC narrative and the media narrative that, Islam trains with Khabib and Khabib's one of the greatest lightweights of all time, so that means Islam has got to be one of the greatest of all time. And I just think it's kind of, shady, but at the same time, it doesn't bother me. I feel like as a hardcore fan, I can decipher these rankings. And I'm not even saying that Islam can't beat some of those guys that are now lower than him in the rankings. The point is, we just haven't seen him test it against some of the upper echelon of the lightweight division. So how do we say he belongs where he's at, So I know we'll eventually see it, and I will love it. I would love to see Islam test it. I'm an Islam fan. I like seeing him fight. I love his kind of, I love that specialist style almost when you see it in the UFC. I love guys that are so dominant in one form of MMA, and him, it's grappling wrestling. And I just love that, and I like Islam. But I try to always be consistent. I cry about Sean O'Malley, and I say, Sean O'Malley needs to be tested. Why is he getting all this hype? Imagine if Sean O'Malley, this is a little over-exaggerated, but imagine if Sean O'Malley beat Chris Montino and then the next week he was number 6 in the rankings or number 5 in the rankings. That would be disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. And that's kind of similar to what happened to Islam here. A little bit, not as egregious because Islam did beat a legitimate Thiago Moises. But your best win is over number 14. Somehow you jump to number 5. I just really don't think that makes sense. And I seen a quote from Dan Hooker, because Islam was saying he doesn't want to fight Dan Hooker anymore, which I think that fight kind of made a lot of sense. I personally want to see the RDA fight, but he said, Dan Hooker wanted to fight Islam, but apparently he turned down the fight from before, and Islam said, oh, you turned down the fight before, I don't want to fight you anymore. You're 3-3 in your last 6 or whatever. And Dan Hooker said, Tony Ferguson, you called him out, and he's 0-3 in his last 3 fights. So, what's that say about you? That doesn't make very much sense. So, I agree with Dan Hooker on that end, but also I get, there's the narrative of the Tony Ferguson-Khabib saga that never ended. And do me a favor, guys. Now that I'm almost done my rant about the rankings, put a bunch of questions in the chat. I'm actually going to go back and read some of the chat right now because I may have missed some stuff. Let's see. Team Diaz. Okay, oh, you're a Diaz fan now. Let's go, Joey. Connor number 9. Connor number 9. Damn. Connor's going to fall out of that top 10 soon. I wouldn't doubt if the UFC takes him out of the top 10 just to kind of save his reputation a little bit. They're going to say, oh, he's inactive. Let's take him out of the top 10. Then when he returns, they'll place him somewhere in that top 10. What's going on, Ginge? Thanks for joining us. Nate is unranked, and he was fighting a number 3 ranked fighter or 2, and George got a title shot after. Yeah, that did happen. Islam at number 5 only serves for Islam to get top 5 opponents. See, I didn't even see that, and that's exactly what I'm saying. I think it was a manipulation of the rankings to get him against fighters that were saying, we're not fighting him. He's only ranked number 12 or whatever he was at the time. What's going on, John B? What's going on, Indigo? What's going on, Issa? It's okay. John Jones fought last February 2020. He's pound for pound for number 1. Exactly. So the UFC gets to decide. I mean, they pulled Leon Edwards out of the rankings when he was unwilling to fight Khamzat Chimaev. What's up, Joey? I'm back home now out of the psych ward taking antidepressants to help me with my depression and suicide thoughts. I hope all is well, my friend. I hope all is well. Good to see you back in the chat. The same rankings had McGregor at 1 pound for pound greats when he beat Dennis Seaver at 2 weeks' notice out of shape Chad Mendez and a mentally psyched out Aldo. Agreed, except the Aldo part. I think the Aldo win was a good win, even though I am a Conor disbeliever, and I'm never been a big believer in him. I think him being in the pound-for-pound rankings at any point in time was really egregious. He never did consistent dominance against high-level competition. Khamzat is ranked number 1 in Dana's head. Yeah, maybe not anymore. Now he's fighting Li Jingling. Michael Chandler claims Justin Gaethje turned him down, which I don't believe. I think Justin Gaethje could be waiting it out a little bit, kind of see what happens in the lightweight division. I think he could be just waiting it out, kind of seeing what's going to go on. Also, Somebody pointed out to me, I can't remember who it was, so if it was you, you can claim credit for it. Ali Abdelaziz kind of manages a lot of these different lightweight fighters. So Justin Gaethje could be waiting around in hopes of a title shot or something like that. The lightweight division was up in the air for a little bit. And then on top of that, he's trying to get Islam Makhachev a big name like Michael Chandler. So maybe he doesn't want Gaethje taking the Chandler fight because he's hoping to get Islam the fight. We will see. Let's see what I got going on here. Okay, that's all right. So I think that could be Ali kind of playing games behind the scenes. I don't think Justin Gaethje, even if he did turn down the fight, I don't think he's ducking Michael Chandler. I don't know if that makes sense to you, so I hope it does. Also, Justin Gaethje said he's looking at retirement really soon. He's starting not to care about fighting anymore. I hope that's not true. I like Makhachev, but I don't know about number 5 in such a stacked division so soon before he's proven himself. Yeah, I agree with you, man. I agree with you. I could see, so hypothetically, let's look at the top 10 behind, look at the top 10 of lightweight, but let's look at the guys behind Islam. You have Tony Ferguson. Islam might very well beat Tony Ferguson. You look at Tony Ferguson's weaknesses, it's the wrestling, it's the takedown threat, and I think Islam may very well beat Tony Ferguson. I would favor Islam in a Tony Ferguson fight. But by no means has Islam ever come close to beating a guy the same quality as Tony Ferguson. So how can we say, without even close, how he's that good? For all we know, Tony Ferguson, Islam doesn't even belong in there with him. Rafael dos Anjos, same thing. Former lightweight champion, has fought some of the best guys at welterweight, a weight class above. I wanted to see Islam fight RDA next. So maybe hopefully the UFC puts that fight together. Dan Hooker, I would favor Islam over. But again, Dan Hooker's better than any opponent that Islam has ever had. And it's hard to say. Conor McGregor, I favor Islam over Conor as well. A healthy Conor, obviously. But at the same time, Islam has never fought the caliber of striker that Conor McGregor is. He just hasn't been tested in the lightweight division. So how do we know for sure? And we're already just tossing him up to number 5. Why don't we just make him the champion? Then you look at Gregor Gillespie, which I would love that fight. That fight's not going to happen. I would love Islam versus Gregor Gillespie. That would be awesome. Let's see. Islam is Khabib's brother. He is going to get a bit of shortcut. They want to have the big fan base like Khabib. Yeah, I think Islam, now that they moved him to number 5, I think that he's one fight away from a title shot. He's getting one more fight, and then he's fighting for the title. The rest didn't have a good fight recently. I know, but I don't think that really means much. I think Makhachev would destroy Gillespie. I'm not sure. I'd love to see it. Kevin Lee versus Islam. That'd be a fun fight, but Kevin Lee moved up to 170. I'd like to see Gregor fight again to see more. I'd like to see that. I'm very interested in Gregor Gillespie. He has unlimited stamina. He has great offensive takedowns. Islam got Khabib privilege and thus Dana White privilege. Agreed. So true. Yeah. Hold on, guys. I'm trying to catch up on the chat right now, guys. So if you guys are asking questions, I'm sorry. I'm reading through everything that I missed during the first 15 minutes. By the way, guys, if you haven't already, like the stream. This is my first stream monetized, so if anybody wants to be the first or second or third to send me a super chat, that would be awesome as well. But if not, either way, I love hanging out with you guys. So if you can, that's nice. If not, that's awesome too. Send more questions. Let's see what we got here. Kevin Lee versus Kamaru Usman would be a good fight. Kevin Lee looks like he could be a world beater, but at the same time, he's super inconsistent. So if he can get on a little bit of a streak at welterweight, I'd love to see him against Kamaru Usman. I'd favor Usman heavily as it stands right now, but it would be a great fight. Kevin Lee's got good jiu-jitsu. He's got great offensive takedowns. He's got good defensive wrestling, and he's got decent striking too. So Kevin Lee is a guy I thought could have been a champion at lightweight if he could stay consistent, but he's been back and forth. He looks like a world beater one night, and then he looks like a bum the next. Gillespie versus Makhachev will be an amazing fight. Exactly. Tony Ferguson officially announced his retirement. I think you're trolling. I gotta look that up in a second. Difference between Khabib and Islam. I can't picture Khabib losing, but Islam already lost. Even if he didn't lose, I would still picture him losing. Yeah, also, I think Khabib has much better striking. And maybe that's just something he accrued over time. But I'd like to see, Islam work on that striking. He just looks too hittable. He was taken down by Thiago Moises. It was a good win against Thiago Moises, but it's just not the level of dominance that Khabib had. John Jones needs to fight. He's 34 now. He's getting older. Agreed. I want to see him fight ASAP. He's ASAP. When do you think we will see Yuri fight for the strap? Early next year. I think the UFC's holding out for Yuri to fight for the strap next. If Glover Teixeira somehow pulls out of his title fight, Yuri Prochazka is stepping in. Guaranteed. Gaethje's going to cost himself precious time not taking this fight. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if he could win one fight dominantly, he's fighting for the belt next. He's fighting for the belt next for sure. So, yeah, but now we can see Islam versus elite guys. Isn't that what we want? True. So we kind of win. The rankings don't matter. I'm not going to be the guy who is crying about it nonstop, but I think it's worth pointing out at least once. But I always have said, you guys heard me talk about it in multiple videos where I mentioned the rankings. They're fun to use as a reference. You know, okay, well, this guy's number 3, this guy's number 4. It's perfect. They can fight each other. But as far as like some concrete, path to the title, we've seen guys, look at Dan Henderson. I think he was ranked number 13 when he fought for the title. So the rankings, the UFC rankings mean absolutely nothing. It's just a promotional tool for the UFC. So it's not the end of the world. I think, some of these quote-unquote money fights are more of a problem than the rankings itself. Gaethje's, okay, I already read that. Let's see. Now, Justin said he would never fight in the UFC if they gave Chandler a title shot. The UFC gave Chandler a title shot. Very, very true. We'll see what happens. Islam has called out Chandler, RDA, and Tony. I want to see the RDA fight. I would love to see. I mean, Islam Makhachev versus RDA is a great fight because I'm still very, very high on RDA. I think a lot of people are forgetting about him just because he has plenty of losses at welterweight, but RDA is still such a quality fighter. And RDA consistently takes the toughest fights that he can find. So I don't see why RDA would not take that Islam fight. And if he can shut down... And also, I've said this multiple times. There's something to be said about shutting down a hype train. It means a lot. So if RDA goes out there and starches Islam Makhachev, that's a big win for him, and it puts his name out there even more. Okay, see? There we go, right there. RDA has fought every badass fighter in the UFC, most of them. Exactly. He's fought Colby Covington. He's fought Usman. He's fought Robbie Lawler more closer to his prime. Gaethje may be overestimating his worth in the UFC, but then again, the problem could be Ali and his attempts at rushing Islam up. Yeah, it's kind of tricky because Ali manages a lot of those top lightweights. Wouldn't mind seeing Dustin Poirier fight Nate Diaz, considering they were supposed to fight before and they don't like each other either. I love that fight stylistically, but Dustin's got to fight for the belt next. So I need to see Dustin Poirier versus Charles Oliveira. Then they can do whatever they want after that. Uriah is a beast. Uriah Hall is a beast. Agreed. I mean, he got a lot of hype coming off The Ultimate Fighter. I remember people were saying he was the second coming of Anderson Silva. And he's never really lived up to that potential. Would you rather see Ngannou fight Lewis or Gain or Gane? Francis Ngannou versus Cyril Gane would be a fun fight. I just love the super technical matchup of Cyril Gane versus Ngannou. Ngannou comes in there to take your head off. And you got Cyril Gane just fighting from the outside, looking for, everything, just mixing in everything. I think that's a very fun fight. I think that Cyril Gane will probably win against Derek Lewis, but I'm not 100% sure right now. We will see if Cyril Gane has to get through Derek Lewis, and then we'll see him fight Francis Ngannou. Keep the questions coming, guys. I appreciate the questions. It's always fun. Seeing, there's stuff, I make videos on all the different current MMA events, but sometimes I forget stuff or you guys want to get my opinion on something I haven't talked about. So keep the questions coming. Moises looked tiny next to Islam. They look like a different weight classes. Yeah, he did look small. Justin Gaethje needs to fight also. He's getting old. Dude will be 40 in November, I believe. I don't think he's that old. I think Islam should be more of a striker. If he has, brutal knockouts, that's the only way he's going to get out of Khabib's shadow. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think he's going to be out there knocking guys dead on a consistent basis, especially when you get to that top 10. It's just not happening. I'll be honest, I thought Islam had better striking than Khabib, more technical, picks his shots, not as reckless. He's definitely not as reckless. I just don't think his striking is as good as Khabib. I think Khabib's better. Well, there we go. If Justin doesn't want to fight in an organization that his favoritism and stuff, don't blame him. Yeah, I didn't blame him either, talking about Conor getting a title shot. If Conor would have got a title shot coming off a stoppage loss to Dustin Poirier, And then on top of that, Conor hadn't won a fight in the weight class since 2016. I would have been disgusted as well. Let's see. Okay. I don't think Poirier versus Diaz fight would even be competitive. Who do you saying would win? Poirier would destroy him? I think it could be competitive. But I'd like to see it, but just not now. It's just not a fight I want to see now. Me too. I thought Islam was a better striker, as well as physically stronger of the two. I just think Khabib's striking is better. Khabib's got a decent jab. And also, I think Khabib's grappling is better. Honestly. And I know that's hard to gauge. But I think if Khabib and Islam are grappling, I think Khabib's getting the better of those in training. So. Nate is too sloppy for Poirier. Probably. I think Poirier probably picks him apart. But Nate is so tough. True or false? Islam is going to fight after his next fight. Islam is going to fight after his next fight if he wins for the title. True. I think the UFC wants Islam fighting for the title. And let's say Islam fights Chandler next. He beats Chandler. Charles Oliveira beats Poirier. It's going to be hard to deny that Islam versus Charles Oliveira matchup, which I favor Charles Oliveira. They give Tony Ferguson the Nate Diaz fight. I think you meant I think. That's why I made that video. I want to see that fight. It's not like I have a massive voice online, but I am dying to see that fight. And you guys need to tweet out to everyone possible. Get in every chat. Talk about Tony Ferguson versus Nate Diaz next. That is the fight to make 100% without a doubt. I love that fight stylistically. It's such a great fight. Let's see. True or false? Conor fans are going to let the hate they have for Khabib on his... Oh, for sure. For sure true. Guys, I love true or false questions, so throw as many true or false questions you can in the chat. I mean, imagine if Dustin fights Oliveira and then Oliveira pulls out. And then Diaz steps in 2 or 1 week notice and Dustin goes up to 170 or 185. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if there's a question there. But that would be insane. But it still wouldn't be for a title, I don't think. Let's see something real quick, guys. Let me make sure. Okay. Everything seems to be working right. Nate Diaz versus Al Iaquinta. Is Al Iaquinta ever fighting again? When's the last time he fought? Let me look that up. Al Iaquinta. Last fought October 6, 2019. He lost to Dan Hooker by decision. Damn. Then before that, he lost to Donald Cowboy Cerrone. Yeah, he should probably stick to being a realtor. Honestly. Stop. False. False, Dante Zero. Guys, you know I pretty much like to ask this every chat. What is your guys' favorite MMA YouTube channels? Let me know in the chat. I'm curious what else you guys are watching. What else do you guys watch on YouTube other than me? As far as MMA-related content. Imagine Nate versus Adesanya. Sign me up. Give me Nick Diaz at 185 versus Adesanya. But then again, Adesanya's champion, so that means it would be for the title, and I wouldn't want that. But Al won 2 times against Lee. I know, isn't it weird? And Lee looks so good sometimes and looks inconsistent other times. And even Al has a win over Jorge Masvidal as well. Let's see. The Weasel. Yeah, I know a lot of people like the Weasel. Weighing in, Mike Swick, Bisbing. Adesanya would send Nate to a decision loss. He'd finish him bad. Wouldn't send Nate. Yeah, I think Adesanya would finish him badly. MMA Dive is a good channel. Somebody mentioned that to me recently. I'm going to have to check that out. They said it was it grew really fast. So I'm going to have to check that out. Issa says me. Yes, that's what I like to hear, my friend. That's what I like to hear. I try to just say what I really think, you know what I mean? I'm always open for discussion. I'm never insisting, that my opinion is the only opinion. Some people do that. They just think they're so smart. Like, I say what I think, but I admit, there's you could easily have a different argument than me, and you could be right as well. You could have a legitimate argument saying the complete opposite is me. I'm just giving you my opinion. I love to hear your guys' opinions. I don't just say that. I actually enjoy. Mixed Molly Wapari is amazing. He does those like story pieces. I love those. I love those. The Weasel. Dante says MMA Guru is the worst. I've seen a little bit of him, but to be honest, his video quality is not good, and I can't watch channels that are not good video quality. But also to be honest, I don't have any time to watch any MMA YouTube channels. Between doing this, doing my own videos, it takes a lot of time to do this type of stuff. So to watch a lot of, I used to watch Luke Thomas, a little bit of Ariel Helwani as far as interviews. I watched some James Lynch. I've always watched James Lynch. He's a guy that I consider, similar to me in style. He's not, he gives his opinions, but he's not a guy that's forcing his opinion on you. He gives his reasons why he believes it, and then that's pretty much it. Bro, how much did you buy the bobbleheads? Are they signed or without signing? They're all the ones I have signed, but usually you can buy them either signed or unsigned, and they're different prices. They're somewhere between $100 to $200. He prices them differently. Pretty soon he's coming out with a Dustin Poirier one. So hypothetically, like if the signed one's $150, maybe the non-signed one's about $100 or something like that. But they're usually about $100 to $200, and he makes like a limited quality of them, and then he sells them, and then he's done. He's a very small business. It's MMAbobblehead.com, and he does a great job. I can't wait for the Dustin Poirier one. I have Jorge Masvidal. Here, hold on. I'll show you, my friend. I'll show you Indigo, because I know I got the blurry background. I got Daniel Cormier right here. You can see the signature right there. Daniel Cormier. Let me see if I can get these without breaking them. Nick Diaz. And he does them like in iconic poses. Like there's him. I think this is in the Anderson Silva fight, holding his hand up. Here's Jorge Masvidal doing the flying knee right after the Ben Askren one. And this is Demetrius Johnson. Autographed as well. All of them are autographed. Now, what I love about this guy, let me take this down real quick. What I love about MMA bobblehead in general, stop it, is not only are the bobbleheads top quality, the boxes he makes are amazing. They're collectibles in themselves. Look at this Daniel Cormier box. Look how top quality that is. Do you guys see that? Look. That's a quality box right there. It's super nice. Then right here, I got a Khabib Nurmagomedov Funko Pop. And I have so many other autographs, like just pictures. I have Robbie Lawler's autograph, Rory McDonald's autograph, Peter Yarn's autograph, Anderson Silva's autograph, Dan Henderson's autograph. I'm trying to think who else. I think that's it. I think I named them all. Let's see. So I'm definitely buying the Dustin Poirier one. I like to buy them all. I don't have any gloves, Ginge. Nope. Yeah, the Khabib autograph I have, I showed you guys the picture before. It's right after the Conor fight when he's pointing. And it's like Conor in the background sitting against the cage. And it's in like a nice frame with like a red border around it. It's really nice. It's super nice. And it's autographed and it's certified and everything. Dante, but you, Joey, become my favorite. No joke. You're doing great. Awesome, man. I can't believe we're over 1,000 subscribers. I'm officially monetized now, guys. I'm still waiting on one of you, maybe in this live chat, to send me my first ever super chat. So whoever gets that honor, I don't know who's going to get it. I don't know if it'll be today, or I'm probably going to do a fight companion for TJ Dillashaw versus Corey Sandhagen. So if you guys want me to do a fight companion for TJ Dillashaw versus Corey Sandhagen, let me know in the chat. But in one of these next couple chats, it's just bound to happen. Someone is going to do one of those super chat donations. It's going to be my first ever for the channel. You need a Joshua Fabia doll. No, thank you. Luckily, man, hopefully I bring Nick and Nate. He made a Nate one. I want both of them signed. Yeah, supposedly he made a Nate one that he just hasn't been able to release. He has to negotiate with the fighters. And because he's a small business, he can't really offer them a lot of money. He can offer them a portion of the sales. But again, he's a very niche, small business. And, you know, so these fighters kind of are like in between. But I'm hoping since he got Nick, he was going to be able to get Nate. And I'm guaranteeing the one of Nate, I don't know for sure, is going to be that picture of him flexing after the Conor win where he's all bloodied up in the camera. That's going to be the bobblehead for sure. Which fighter would you like to most meet in person for 1 hour? For 1 hour, who would I like to meet in person? Let me decide. Who would I like to hang out with? I don't know. I never really thought of that. I don't know. Definitely not Colby Covington. I'd probably want a fighter that spoke English just so I could talk to him. I'll say Khabib Nurmagomedov. I would love to hang out with him. I'd love to hang out with him. Oh, look at Ginge. Adam Zizelman, what is a super chat? Down in the bottom, you can click the little money sign and you can donate to my channel. Now that I'm monetized, you can officially donate to my channel. Whether it's $1, $5, $10, I think you can even do $100 if you want. That's crazy. Ginge, I appreciate the first ever super chat. It also, when you send a super chat, it highlights it in the chat. So eventually when I have like 300 subscribers, and not 300 subscribers, when I have like 300 people in the chat, I'll be able to see that super chat because it'll be specifically highlighted. So, Jay, I'm going to donate, I promise, but I ain't home right now. I feel really bad right now, but I'm going to fill your pockets, bro, and you can call me out on it. Awesome, man. I don't know who's expected, but I can tell you this 100%, and I'm not just saying this. I know every single dollar that I get is going back into this channel. Pretty soon, I'm going to buy a $1,000 setup of the nicest microphone that you can get. So every single dollar that you guys donate, and when you watch my videos, in turn, that's going to make me a little bit of money here and there. But every single dollar is going to go back into the channel, and I'm going to make it better. You guys will see soon enough, maybe in the next month or two, I'm going to have a new microphone. It's right in the chat. Hold on, let me see. Ginge, explain this to this man. It's a little money sign right next to where you type. But Ginge, you are an absolute legend, man. Thank you for my first ever super chat. I literally can't believe that. I know that sounds crazy. It's $1, but it's just crazy to me that you know, I'm chatting with you guys. You guys are willing to support the channel. You know, to even donate $1 to just some random stranger online that you've been watching their videos of. It means a lot. I mean, to be honest, this is a historic moment. And it's awesome. It's awesome. Ginge the legend, Nick Diaz, Ginge the GOAT. Ginge said it's my first ever donation ever. Ginge is one of the best supporters of the MMA Joey channel. I appreciate you. You pretty much watch every video from what you say. You're shouting me out to other people. Yeah, how do I screenshot that? Let me do that real quick. You're right. Thank you for telling me that. You'll go down in history. Hello, my friend from Kuwait. I appreciate you. Who will win, TJ or Sandman? I say Sandman. I did a full prediction video on it. You can watch it. Where is the, okay, yeah, it's in the chat. You'll see the money sign in the chat. So, what's up, Jacob Houston's pod? Hold on a second. Adam, my man, look at you coming through with the super chat. That is awesome, man. Hold on, I gotta go. I gotta email me my. Took a screenshot on my computer, but I don't know how to save it. So now I gotta send one at a time to myself. Let's see. That's awesome. That's awesome, guys. Let me do this real quick. And this MMA channel, you guys know this channel is going to be around for a while, and you guys are helping growing it. You guys are some of the first subscribers that I have. 3 months we make it to 1,000 subscribers. I could not be more pleased with that. Let me continue reading these questions. What's up, Jacob Houston pod? How many flyweights would it take to beat Ngannou? I'll say 3. Evening, Kevin Weeks. Thoughts on Anderson Silva versus Logan Paul? Don't know if it's confirmed. Don't trust Dylan Dennis. Not a big fan. Not a big fan at all. It's my first ever. Okay, I already said that. Screenshot your first super chat. Thank you. I did that. Ignore Mo Lester. He has 100 accounts and trolls for a living. That's weird. Okay, now I'm down to Adam Zizelman. I hope I pronounced that right. You are the second ever super chat. A donation of $10. That means so much to me. Every dollar is going back into the channel. So I appreciate it. It's helping grow the channel. And if one day I have 100,000 subscribers, 200,000 subscribers, and you see that, you will know I was one that helped build this channel. With my donation, I helped build this channel. The second ever donation. I appreciate it, my friend. You the man, Adam. And I appreciate everyone, no matter what. Even if you don't donate, you don't need to donate. I never really donated when I watch YouTube. But I do appreciate it. It helps so much. If one day I can strictly do videos about MMA and do live streams, and that can be my source of revenue, I will be on here live chatting every single day of the week. You better believe that. So I appreciate it. I appreciate it so much, Adam. I just have to give you that. How are you all? We're doing good, Kevin. I hope you're doing well, too. Bro, Nate's store is actually good. I don't know what that means. All right, I'm getting rid of this guy. Getting rid of this guy, Mo Lester. Okay, got rid of that. Adam, come on, Mo, behave. Yeah, we're trying not to have a toxic community here. Adam says, everybody send any amount if you're able to. He's a good man. I appreciate you, Adam. Yeah, you guys don't have to, but anything, again, is always awesome, even if it's $1. My chat revenue is $11 for this chat, so that is awesome. Mo Lester, go seek help. It was okay. Timed out. Go seek help. It was fun in the beginning, but you actually have a problem. You have 100 different accounts and act like people support you in the chat. How do you know this guy, Dante? Now I'm confused. Adam says that was my first super chat. Awesome, man. So you gave me my second ever super chat. Ginge gave me my first ever super chat, and you guys both gave your first ever super chats to my channel. Yeah, just ignore that troll. I banned him, I think. I don't know how to officially kick him out, but I think I kind of banned him. But he can go make another thing. He's really everywhere trolling. Is he just in the MMA community? I've never heard of this. That's very, very strange. But I'm just going to ignore that guy. That's weird. So he goes like majority MMA accounts then. Or MMA YouTube channels. What's going on, Anthony? I appreciate you joining the chat. This is a historic chat. I just received my first and second ever super chats for the channel, which is just crazy to me. I just still can't believe that. You guys don't know how much I appreciate it. Yeah, and just ignore that troll. Who cares? I'll keep, if he pops up, if he pops up, I'll just keep banning him. He was exposed by Jesse. He came in this chat with multiple. That's so weird. That's so strange. We're just sitting here trying to, have enjoyable chats about MMA, and he's coming in and saying the weirdest stuff. Anthony says, how do you donate on here? There's a little money sign next to where you type your thing, and you can donate that way. So, what's up, Mac? What's going on, man? I appreciate you. Thank you for joining me in the chat. Send as many questions as you want. This is going to be one of the longest chats I've done. There's so much stuff to talk about. We haven't even gotten to half of it. We're too busy talking about Islam's rankings and super chats. But I'm sure we'll get to it. I like doing these live streams. We can talk about whatever you want. If you guys haven't already, if you guys are in this chat and you haven't already, make sure to go like the stream. It helps grow the channel too. If everyone sends $10 a month, dude would have like a $10,000 a month and grow the channel. We are a family now. Appreciate you, Adam, man. Appreciate you hyping me up. I really do appreciate it. You have no idea. What's going on? Lean out the ride. What's up? What's up, my friend? Islam over RDA is a travesty. We were talking about that before you got here. The fact that Islam is ranked over RDA is crazy, but I wouldn't let it get to you too much because, the rankings don't really matter. It's just the UFC using a promotional tool. And, I just don't think, it's stupid because they should mean something. But to me, as someone, my opinion on them has always been they're meaningless. It doesn't bother me too much. But by no means does he deserve to be even ranked in the top 10. He's not beat a quality opponent. He looks good, but we have not seen him test it. So how do we know he's a top 5 guy when he hasn't fought anyone even in the top 10? That would be like throwing Sean O'Malley in the top 10 right now rankings. That would be crazy. It's untested. Islam does not deserve to be number 5. With that being said, again, I have to say this again. It's not the end of the world because I don't care about the rankings. They're just, a promotional tool for the UFC. But I understand, and I that's why I made it, I put it in the title. I thought it was worthy talking about. And on the bright side, when you get that number 5 ranking, regardless if it means something to me, it means something to the UFC. And the UFC is now going to try to match him up. He's number 5. They're not going to try to match him up with an unranked opponent now. They're going to match him up with a quality next opponent. And we will see who that is. And we will finally get our answers. He will be tested. So, we will see. Yep, thoughts on Islam. I feel like he needs to up the offensive output. Yeah, also, I feel like, if you look at his, striking, it just doesn't look that great. And then on top of that, Thiago Moises, a guy who looks a lot smaller than him, is taking him down. That wasn't a great look. It was an overall impressive performance. And don't get me wrong, I can still see him growing, and he gets better every time out. But right now, I don't think he's ready to compete with the likes of Michael Chandler or RDA or Justin Gaethje even. I'd like to see it because of all the hype he's getting, but I don't think he's ready. I still think he needs another couple fights. But I think, we talked about it earlier in the chat, but I'll give it again. He's probably one fight away from a title shot. So it's time. We can cry and whine and say Islam hasn't fought anyone, but there comes a point in everyone's career, whether it be Conor McGregor, Sean O'Malley, or Islam Makhachev, there's no hiding them anymore. They have to fight a tough test, and we have to find out what they're about. And soon enough, that's what will happen here. We will see him against one of those guys in the top 10 or top 5 probably at this point, and we will find out if he's the real deal or not. What champs will lose their belts in the next 6 months? Okay, I'll go over the champions right now. Okay, Brandon Moreno, I say no, he does not lose his belt. Aljamain Sterling definitely loses his belt. Alexander Volkanovski, no, I'm going to say no. Charles Oliveira, I'm going to say no. Kamaru Usman, I'm going to say no. Israel Adesanya, I'm going to say no. Jan Blachowicz, I'm going to say yes. Whether he drops it to Glover Teixeira or in his next fight against Yuri Prohaska or possibly Alexander Rakic, I think he loses one of those 2 matchups. Francis Ngannou, I'm going to say no. Rose Namajunas It depends who she's fighting, but I'm going to say no. Valentina Shevchenko, I don't think she loses her belt in the next 6 years. Amanda Nunes, again, at featherweight. She's not losing at featherweight. So there's your answer. Aljamain Sterling, Jan Blachowicz are the 2 champions I could see losing their belt in the next 6 months. May not deserve it, but I'm on the hype train and I'm here for it. Yeah, I'm excited to see. I'm high on Islam as well. But we have to admit there is some deficiencies there. And we haven't seen him tested against quality guys to know, So I hope Izzy loses. Then Usman will go up to 85 and maybe he will make history. I actually thought of something earlier, and I wonder what you guys think of this. You'll have to let me know in the chat. Do you think Robert Whittaker, if he went back down to 170, could he beat Kamaru Usman? That's a very interesting matchup, and Whittaker used to fight at 170. Let me know in the chat what you guys think of that. You're the first person who live streams. I tried my best to join, and the first person whose videos I've been committing to watching. F the trolls, you're going to blow up, and it's going to be cool to know. I was here so early. Awesome, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate you so much. Just watching my videos, now that they're monetized, helps the channel. Because every time you click on one of my videos, it grows the channel. YouTube pays some type of revenue. I don't know how much it is. My monetization just got approved on Saturday, so I don't even know yet. So I appreciate you. You're an early supporter of the channel, and it's only up from here. One day, I was telling somebody in one of these live chats, pretty soon I'm gonna start writing down names of people who were in my chats and supporters of my videos early on, and I'm definitely gonna always remember Adam and Ginge as my first ever donations. Imagine one day I got like 300 people in here. People are throwing out super chats left and right. And I'll be like, every time I get a super chat, I'm gonna think of Ginge and Adam. So, but I'm always gonna remember the early supporters, the first 1,000 and some supporters. I think right now, let me go check. I am at 1,017 subscribers. So it's still growing, guys. I think I hit 1,000 sometime last week. And it's just crazy. It's crazy. If you guys know anybody who likes MMA, send them my channel and tell them to go subscribe. Any thoughts? Any thoughts on the Bucks winning the NBA Finals? To be honest, I very rarely watch other sports to begin with. But I used to pay attention to pretty much everything a little bit. But since I started this MMA channel, I've just been so deep in MMA, I have blocked everything else out. So I don't even know anything about it, to be honest. And I hate to say that. A serious punch in the face will let you know who's the real deal. Exactly. I watched the Chimaev training video. He will be a big problem at 170, I believe. Maybe the only man to beat Usman. Yeah, I definitely believe those grappling heavy styles, if they can just have decent striking and work on their striking, they're a big problem in any weight division. We've seen it time and time. Heavy grapplers who are able to strike a little bit are able to be dominant. And it's one of I think it's probably the most, what's the word I'm looking for? It's probably the most important skill to have as a mixed martial artist, because if you can stuff a takedown or take a guy down and hold him down, that's a really good skill to have and makes fights much more winnable for you. I want to do a super chat, but I will have to wait until my wife goes to sleep. Hey, man, I appreciate it. No matter what, I appreciate you. Thanks for joining the chat in general. I think Whittaker would beat Usman's toughest test. I think so, too. I'm not sure. I think Usman will dominate Rob. I'm not sure of that. He might be compromising his speed and strength at 170. If he's 80%, he gets the dub. He beat Yo twice. Very true. I wasn't even thinking of that. He might be... Okay, I already read that. Thanks for joining us, Nick, by the way. And thank you for everyone submitting questions. You guys make this chat possible. Whittaker versus Usman would be an awesome fight. I love that one. Has anyone ever thought of that fight? Because I thought of that fight earlier. And I thought, nobody's ever mentioned that fight ever. Let's see. What the hell is going on here? Let's see. I would hope for Whittaker to win. I am super high on Whittaker from this minute. Everyone's laughing at Leonard. Hey, Ginge. Mo, do a donation. Kevin Weeks. Let's see. Kevin Weeks, thumbs up. Whitaker should try to do that. Honestly, I don't see him beating Izzy. How's everyone? Ginge. Okay, you're talking to everyone. Dante, no. Okay, I'm not even. Post a clip to our UFC. Okay, thanks, Kev. How's you? Kick the money button, brothers. Any amount will be blessing for one of the good guys. Let's see. Ginge and Leonard, the first mods for Joey. They deserve this, brother. I see you, Khabib voice, right? Okay, that's strange. Damn, now they really hyping Islam. Good for him. Yeah, good for him. Good for him. I think Islam could be a threat. I'm not saying that he doesn't belong there, but I'm not even reading this message in the chat, but I'm dying laughing. I don't even want to give it any airtime. I had to take a picture of it. Damn, now they really hype. Okay, I already read that. LOL. Would be awesome. Adam with another super chat. I just saw that. I'm trying to catch up. Dude, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. I'll be here Saturday night doing another live stream. You're really helping the channel out, dude. This is awesome. This is my first live stream since my monetization was approved, and now you sent me two super chats. This is crazy to me. Push me now, you'll go to sleep later. Joey, who's this UFC fighter? Push me now, sleep later. Push me now. I remember this, but now I can't think of it. Push me now, go to sleep later. Shit, what is that? Is that DC versus Brock Lesnar? Let me know right now. Is that right? Oh, this is hilarious. Let's see. Push me now, go to sleep later. That's incredibly weird. I'm dying right now. Jet, be well, enjoying life. DC, yep. Hi. Guys, throw some more MMA questions in the chat. This is how I know the channel's growing. We're getting people in here trolling now. Pretty soon I'm going to have to get moderators going on. I'm going to have moderators. Ginger's going to be my moderator soon. I'm literally disturbed. Shout out to Dillashaw Ferguson. I don't know what that means, Menace. But don't forget to like the stream. I'll be a moderator, bro. Stop it. I don't even know who that is, Ginge. This is hilarious. This is absolutely hilarious. Yeah, see, there you go. I was texting my friend John, actually. He's a subscriber. He just joined the chat. Anthony Velocio, I don't know how to pronounce the last name. But Anthony, thank you so much for the super chat. This is crazy. I can't believe this, guys. I just can't believe that. Thank you so much. Now I've gotten like 4 super chats. How do I just ban? I just gotta hide this user. Is that what I do? Why does he just only troll MMA accounts? But so weird. That is so strange. Jill, you sound like an awesome late Gillis Mo Lester. Adam Zisselman, nice. Anthony, good man. Yep, Anthony, I appreciate you. That's crazy. Look, Adam, Anthony's one-upping you. You decided to go with 10. Anthony said, I'm going with 15, bro. He said, my pockets are deep. Dillashaw Ferguson plays football. He's Icelandic. Okay, well, thank you so much. Thank you, John. Thank you, John. I appreciate you. I'm glad you came in and corrected the people that I wasn't texting Jill. I was texting you, sending you a screenshot of the chat. Hilarious. Yeah, yeah. Hey, these guys are. Anthony, man. Anthony went with the deep pockets. He said $14.99 for this man. That's crazy. Colombo have a baby bro or sis? Dude, Colombo is getting so big, Ginge. Colombo is getting so big. Guys, Ginge is the real MVP. He's definitely going to be a moderator when I need one. Which I don't even know how to ban someone from the chat at this point. I know. Man, I love you guys. I love you guys. But I don't even know how to ban someone. I know how to time them out. But how do I ban them? Someone let me know. Anthony says, "Let's go, top donation. Somebody come beat me. Joey deserves it." Yeah, hey, you guys can beat him. I'm sure. You guys can. I'm pretty sure you can even do a $99 donation. Dude, Blaze, believe it or not, when I started this channel, one of my main goals, I like doing this. I don't really care about the money, but the money is awesome to help grow the channel. But one of my goals, I said, if I can monetize this channel and I can make $75 per month off this channel to pay for the pay-per-view per month, that is a win for me, and I will do this channel for the rest of my life. And that was my goal. So what you guys are throwing out is awesome. No, don't worry about it, Jacob. It's not required, man. I'm just thanking the people that are doing it. I don't, whether you donate or not, I still like to talk to you. So I appreciate you just being in the chat. Y'all are awesome. I love MMA. Click on their name. Doesn't let you click on their name. It just says pin message, report, remove, put user in timeout, or hide this user. Let's see what this does. There we go. I hid their message. Let's see. What a weirdo. This guy has so many accounts. Dude, if you're going to come in with all these accounts trolling, at least send some super chats. It's deserved, buddy. You upload all the time, multiple times daily. Yeah, I try to cover all the great, all the good MMA events. Yeah, I saw that John is actually one of my friends in real life. I know him personally, and I appreciate the $10, my friend. I think I already said that, but Adam is reminding me. Maybe I didn't talk about it enough. Adam, Ginge, John, Anthony, you guys are the man. You guys are the man. I appreciate every single one of you. Throw some questions about MMA. We talked enough about these trolls and these super chats. But yeah, the channel might be getting a little bit of growth when you got some trolls in there. So it is what it is. I don't care. There's nothing anybody can say that can bother me. So this guy just has hundreds of accounts, and he just does this for fun. Winners this weekend. Okay, let me go through the card because I don't have, I like to give an in-depth prediction video, and it's hard to go through the entire card and do that. So I'll give you some quick picks and kind of some brief insight. Corey Sandhagen versus TJ Dillashaw. You guys have already probably watched my prediction video. But I'm going with Corey Sandhagen. Aspen Ladd versus Macy Chasson. First off, let's talk about the main event before I even get into the second fight. The main event is without a doubt the best fight on this card. I love the main event. I love the way Sandhagen gets in and out. I love the way he strikes. He's super fluid. And I just really think that, and I forgot to mention this, as soon as I end it, you guys don't know how often I end a YouTube video and I forget to say something, because I don't write anything down most of the time. And I forgot to say that the reason I thought TJ was going to lose is he's shown in the past he's a little bit chinny. And I just think, with his history, he got stopped by Henry Cejudo, he's stopped by John Dodson, rocked multiple times by Cody Garbrandt as far as I remember. I just think that Corey Sandhagen is going to be able to find his chin and be able to put him down. And I just think it's going to be, I think I said second round or third round. I can't even remember at this point. But I just think, I don't think TJ Dillashaw coming back after so long off, I just don't think that he's going to be able to be on the same level that he was. And even if TJ Dillashaw returns to the same level he was, I just don't know if the division hasn't passed him by. Corey Sandhagen's like a new breed of bantamweight, At one point in time, TJ Dillashaw was that. And I don't think he is that anymore. Let's see. TJ is back. Macy, okay. Yes, man, this Mo Lester guy is a creep. I was on Jesse on Fire live stream. That guy stalked him everywhere. And he exposed some of his names like Mike Hawk and Mo Lester. Is Mike Hawk supposed to be like Mike Hawk or something like that? Is that what he's trying to say there? What a weirdo. The Snake is back. I love his fighting style, though. Yeah, TJ Dillashaw is super fun to watch. He's super well-rounded. And he's an entertaining fighter. He's got a lot of skills, but I just think Corey Sandhagen's better. Macy plus 155. Ginge, anything John making us look bad? Yeah, Dante, I've seen him in the comments section. The Jesse on Fire, he's a real weirdo. And Justin turned down Chandler. We talked about that. I think that might have something to do with Ali Abdelaziz, kind of trying to get Islam that Michael Chandler fight. I think if TJ returns at his top form, he wins. I don't think so, man. I just don't. Unless, do you let me know in the chat. I want everybody to answer this question, not just Anthony. But do you guys think if TJ Dillashaw, do you think he can take Corey Sandhagen down and hold him down? I just don't think he can. And if not, I think Sandhagen's going to outstrike him. And then you have the factor that TJ's off the EPO most likely. I just don't know. Let's see. Let's see. Do you think I understand? Okay, so let's talk about some of these other fights. So you got Macy Chastone versus Aspen Ladd. I'm not really high on either one of these girls, to be honest. I know Aspen Ladd, some people are hyping her up. But, her best win is against Yana Kutsukaya. That's a decent win. I was there for that fight. If I had to pick one, Macy Chastone has really not fought anyone. Her best win is Marion Renault, who obviously just retired after losing to Miesha Tate, who came back after a 5-year layoff. But to me, hold on a second. Sorry, I got so many tabs open. I got to close out some of these tabs that distracted me. I'm going to go with Aspen Ladd. I'll go with Aspen Ladd on that one. I just think she's a little bit better fighter. She always comes in shape. She's ready to fight. She's decently well-rounded. She's fought some decent competition. So I think she'll win that fight. As far as how she wins, I have no idea. I have no idea how she's going to win. I just think she wins probably by decision if I had to guess. I'm pulling up the fight card again because I lost it for some reason. Then we got Kyler Phillips versus Raulian Paiva, if is that how you pronounce it. Kyler Phillips has looked good. I don't remember the last time. I hate when I got a terrible memory, guys. I don't remember the last time what's his name? Raulian fought last. So I'm going to go with Kyler Phillips on that one. He's looked pretty good. Bantamweight is just so stacked. So many great fighters. Darren Elkins versus Derek Minner. I just don't believe in Darren Elkins. He takes too much damage. I think he loses this fight. Miranda Maverick versus Macy Barbara. Macy Barbara is kind of like one of those people who's kind of in no man's land, where she's overhyped a little bit. UFC's trying to push her, but she's never really uh, lived up to those expectations. And I just don't know if she has the skills. I mean, she lost to Roxanne Montefiore, or however you pronounce her last name. I'm terrible at pronunciation sometimes. But I just don't know if she wins. I think this is probably going to be one of her. If she loses this fight, I don't know if the UFC keeps her. She's one of those, like Sage Northcutt experiments, Paige Van Zant's, where they tried to build her up hard and they gave her some decent fights, and then she wasn't even able to beat Roxanne. I think Miranda Maverick is on the come up and Macy's on the skid, and I think she's eventually probably, this may be her last fight in the UFC, honestly, without looking at anything. Mickey Gall versus Jordan Williams. I'm not too familiar with Jordan Williams. I don't remember him too much. I'll go with Mickey Gall, but I'm not all that excited about this fight. The fight that I'm most excited, other than the main event on this card, guys, is Adriana Yanez versus Randy Costa. That is a super fun bantamweight fight. For you guys who've been following my channel, you know I've been saying stuff about Yanez for a while. I'm very, very impressed with him. His hands look slick. His kicks look slick. And I think he's probably going to beat Randy Costa. Costa's good too as well. Both young, up-and-coming bantamweights. I'm super excited for that fight. That's my favorite fight on the card, other than the main event. Sijara Eubanks, don't care about. Do you guys remember when the UFC almost headlined a pay-per-view with Sijara Eubanks versus Valentina Shevchenko, but it ended up not happening? But I'm just most excited for that main event. Guys, put your picks for the main event in the chat. I want to know, are you picking TJ or are you picking Corey Sandhagen? I'm picking Corey Sandhagen, but I want to know what everyone else is picking. Do you know? Yeah, I do. I think Sanhagen will be too much for TJ. I agree. I think it'll be a competitive fight, but Sanhagen, and somebody was commenting, talking about it in the pre-fight, but Sanhagen likes to attack in those reset pause moments. Guys throw a couple combinations, then they kind of reset. Corey Sandhagen likes attacking in those awkward moments, and I love that about him. And I can't wait to see if he's able to do that against TJ Dillashaw, because TJ Dillashaw does that kind of stuff too. I'd love to see TJ come back and be active, but I also want to see Sanhagen add to his highlight reel. Yeah, I think Sanhagen could be the future of the division. I really want to see Sanhagen versus Petr Yan. TJ used EPO. It enhanced you cardio and out, and TJ's fighting style was putting a pace in the later rounds. So that's how he beat his opponents. He had great cardio in the later round. I swear, I have no evidence to prove this, but since he beat Renan Barão the first time, I've been suspicious that he was on EPO. I swear, I've even said it out loud to one of my friends a couple times. We talked about it. I said, there's no way. The pace he puts on guys in the 4th and 5th round is a pace that Tony Ferguson would be, in awe of. So I just don't know how he can replicate that off the EPO. TJ admitted that Sanhagen used to smack him up in training, so it will play with his mind before the fight, maybe. Yeah, we'll see. Let's see how TJ does without the EPO. That's the most interesting thing. You know what sucks for TJ? He's in a lose-lose. Because if he gets spanked this fight, people are going to say because he's not on the EPO anymore. Ginge, thank you so much. Ginge's dog, actually. Thank you so much. Bye, Joey. I can't bear not donating today. See you next live stream. I'm home with my credit card. It doesn't matter, man. I appreciate the donations, but it's not required, man. It's just helping to support the channel. You can always donate another day. It's no big deal. Stay in the chat, man. You're supporting me just by being in the chat, liking the chat, commenting in the chat, asking questions. You're supporting the live stream right now. You're giving me stuff to talk about, so stay in here. John's laughing at Dante. Issa's taking Sanhagen. John making me feel bad. I can't. Bye, guys. Have a good one until next one. No, man, don't leave. I think if anyone should be ashamed of themselves, I think it should be John. John knows me in real life, and he let Anthony beat him with a $14.99 donation. Anthony's the real MVP today. Anthony donated the highest donation, and John knows me in real life and knows me on a personal level, and the best he could do was $9.99. Bro, come on now. Throw some more MMA-related questions in the chat. Yeah, Dante, just stay, man. It doesn't matter. It's all good. It's not like it's required. It's just fun. It's just helping support the channel. Let's preview some of these other fight cards coming up. What do we got next? Ew. The next event is Uriah Hall versus Sean Strickland is the main event. Come on now. Let's see. Sean Strickland versus Uriah Hall. I'm not really excited for that at all. Not a great main event. I don't believe Uriah Hall versus Sean Strickland should be on any fight card as a main event. John, I didn't know. Are you allowed to donate on YouTube Super Chat with food stamps? I didn't know you were allowed to do that. Nah, I'm just playing. Hey, Joey, guess when did I start watching MMA with my knowledge? Do you think I was watching for years? I never really thought about it, man, but you seem pretty knowledgeable. So how long have you been watching? Did you just start watching? Is that what you're trying to say? Let's see. Guys, don't forget to like the stream. You know what? I forgot to tweet out this stream. I usually tweet out the stream before I do it. Damn, you're really killing John in here. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Anthony, you're the one killing John. You made him embarrassed of himself. By the way, guys, if any of you guys have Twitter, go follow me. The link to my Twitter is in the description. I finally got the link to my Twitter in the description. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I'm just tweeting out the link to my live chat. I'm going to make this the longest live chat ever just because of the super chat donations. Let's see. Okay. 3-hour live chat, maybe. Hey, let's see if I'm at $47 right now of donations. Let's see if I can get to the price of UFC 266, $75. We're close enough. Only, what's the math on that? We're at 47, so that is 23 plus 5, $28 away. $28 away from paying for a full pay-per-view. I don't know. I think YouTube takes a cut of it anyway, but it's irrelevant. I started watching in 2020, but the addiction was real. I started watching in 2010, I believe it was. And I always wanted to get into it, but I didn't want to pay the price of a pay-per-view when I wasn't a huge fan. And eventually, as I became a huge fan, I started going out and watching it at restaurants, and then occasionally split it with a friend, and then finally I just started buying every single pay-per-view, and I have for the last couple years. 3-hour live chat? Maybe, my friend. Maybe, my friend. Same here, Issa. I used to watch huge cards, but since 2020, I'm addicted. It's just, there's nothing to me. There's nothing more fun than when you have two guys that are some of the best fighters in the world. And you have no idea what's going to happen. They're my favorite type of fights, where you just have no idea who's going to win. They both have a huge skill set, a well-rounded skill set. I remember I was super excited for John Jones versus Daniel Cormier 1 because I knew they were two of the best in the world. And I had no idea, can DC take him down? I didn't think he would be able to. I picked John Jones in both those fights. But I remember I was so hyped. One of the key moments in locking me in as a fan forever, and if you guys have been on my live chats, the majority of them, you've heard this, was Anderson Silva versus Chael Sonnen 1. We watched Anderson Silva get pummeled for 4.5 rounds. And for him to come out in that 5th round, and those last couple minutes of the 5th round, and get that triangle choke and finish him, I could not believe what I had seen. And I was hooked ever since then. The first fight I ever ordered was Rampage Jackson versus Rashad Evans, and that was a terrible fight card, by the way. Give us a quiz. What are you talking about, my friend? What kind of quiz do you want? What are you saying? I'm going to put the earbuds on as the dog needs a walk. Go walk that dog, my friend. I got your screenshot, by the way, which was awesome. Okay, I started watching during the era of Chuck Liddell, Anderson Silva. That's the same time I started watching the end of the Chuck Liddell era, though. Which fighter brought you into MMA, or more like who grabbed your attention? I didn't even see that, and I was talking about Anderson Silva. I always kind of casually watched it, but not very much. I just kind of kind of read about it here and there, and I never bought the events. But right around that Rampage Rashad is when I bought my first card, and then I kind of started going out to restaurants, and then I really got hooked and eventually started buying them all. But that Anderson Silva triangle choke was a pivotal moment for me. Have you ever been to any UFC fights, Joey? Yes, I have. I've been to 3. I went to John Jones versus Glover Teixeira. I don't know why I said that name wrong. UFC 172. It was back in 2014. I went and saw that live in the arena. The card was stacked. Max Holloway was on the prelims. Then I went to UFC 244, the BMF title fight between Nate Diaz and Jorge Masvidal. That card was absolutely stacked as well. And then I went a month later to see Alistair Overeem versus Jairzinho Rozenstruik. What a crazy KO in the end of the 5th round by Rozenstruik. And then also we got to see the second ever UFC Twister. So I've been to some iconic moments. Ginge said he started watching properly around 2003 to 2004. That's crazy, man. That's a long time. Only thing I know about MMA is the time is so late, 6 in the morning, the events start. So no way I was watching, but I gave it a try. Probably my best thing to happen to me in 2020, quarantine season. Yeah, I think a lot of people started watching sports more in 2020 just because, you didn't want to go outside or, go hang out with anyone just because of the whole situation. But I'm happy to have you as a fan of the channel and a fan of MMA. It's fun. The sport is fun. I think MMA is the best sport. Obviously, I'm biased to it. I just love it. There's no other feeling. I'm trying to think the last time I got, I don't know about you guys, but when I get to a really big event, not get to it, but when a really big fight is about to come on, does anyone's hearts, even if you don't care who wins, if you like both guys, but also even more when you hate one guy, but does anybody else during the main event, their hearts start just pounding, especially if it's a big fight, even if you don't care who wins? But if you care who wins, your heart's pounding out of your chest even more. So I wonder if I'm the only one. I'm sure there's other people like me. It's funny, the first card I watched was Conor Alvarez, but the Khabib versus Johnson fight impressed me the most. Khabib just beat the living crap out of him. That was a mauling. Khabib's the only guy that you never hear the word mauled other than when Khabib's fighting. Let's see. Let's see something. I was at a fight in Philadelphia, UFC on ESPN2. Looking back, the card was awesome. What was the main event of that card? Let me know. First card I watched was UFC 100. That was Brock Lesnar, Frank Mir too, if I'm not mistaken. I remember hearing about that fight card, but I didn't watch it. Guys, if you're listening to this right now, fill the chat with MMA questions. Come on, guys. I want to make this one of the longest live chats I've ever done. Gaethje Barboza, man, that was crazy. Were you? I know for me, regardless, the fight was fun as hell. Being there live, were you disappointed when the main event ends in like 2 minutes? Does that disappoint you? Because that hasn't happened to me in any of the 3 fights I've been to. Nate Diaz, Jorge Masvidal went 3 rounds or so. John Jones versus Glover went to the decision. And Jairzinho Rozenstruik versus Overeem went all the way to the 5th round. So, did that disappoint you at all? When you had that Gaethje fight, when he starts Barboza in like the first minute or two? I wonder what is you. I put this in the title because I wanted to talk about this. Oh God, Anderson Silva is fighting Logan Paul. I mean, good for them, but I have no interest. I won't watch it. To be honest, I placed a bet on Barboza, so I was disappointed, but not how fast it ended. So, sounds like my Friday night. Top 3 dream fights with active fighters on the roster. That's a great question. That is a great question. Let me tell you what that is. What sucks is, I'll give you this one as a bonus because it's not really active fighters. But number 1 is Charles Oliveira versus Khabib Nurmagomedov. I want to see that fight badly, but technically that doesn't count. So I'll give you other ones. I want to see, and this is going to be in no particular order. All 3 of them I want to see badly. Yuri Prochazka versus John Jones. I want Yuri Prochazka versus John Jones badly. I want it so badly. Nobody even talks about it. But I love that fight. I would also love to see, let's see. I'm trying to think of, because some of these are within the same division. Another fight that I'm dying to see right now is Petr Yan versus Corey Sandhagen. That's a very, very fun fight as well that I'm dying to see. I would also love to see, here's a wild card. Give me Israel Adesanya versus Yuri Prochazka. That would be fun as hell. I don't even know who would win that fight. But sign me up right now. I'll pay $100 for a 1-fight pay-per-view. Israel Adesanya versus Yuri Prochazka. Could you imagine Yuri Prochazka's just moving forward, slinging crazy strikes, hands down. Adesanya's trying to counter. He's moving backwards. He's chopping the legs like Dominic Reyes was doing. I would love to see that fight. So there's a lot of dream matchups, as far as the current UFC roster. There's so many fun matchups, and I really want to see Valentina Shevchenko versus Amanda Nunes 3. I'm dying to see that trilogy. I don't know why the UFC is not making that yet. I just don't know why. If they both win their next fights, I think they should match them up next. Let's see. True or false? If Aljo beats Yan, it's going to be the biggest redemption in MMA. True. That would be insane. I've never even thought of that. How can he make adjustments so soon to beat Yan when he got dominated? The only thing I can think of, Aljamain did expend a lot of energy in that first round. So maybe he's more conservative. It's just Petr Yan out-grapples him. So how the hell is he going to beat him? I think he has to knock him out in the first round. I know that sounds crazy, but Aljamain throws some unorthodox strikes in that first round. So he could get a knockout. I don't foresee it happening. I think it's highly unlikely. It just sucks to me that we even got to watch that fight again. I know Petr Yan's the better fighter, but that would be huge. UFC 300 better be stacked, and if they change the color matte, that would be good, like UFC 200. I know people didn't like it, but I loved it. Imagine the main card was all 5 rounds. UFC 300 better be stacked, without a doubt. I wouldn't even mind that. Somehow make it all 5 title fights and 5-round title fights for the whole main card. But Issa, my friend, that changed colored matte, I absolutely hate it. It ruined the pay-per-view for me, and I pray that they do not change the color matte ever again. That was one of the worst things. I respect your opinion that you liked it, but that was one of the worst things I've ever seen in my entire life. It ruined the entire night for me. I know that sounds insane. I hated it with a deep passion. It was the most annoying thing that I've ever seen in my entire life. It was disgusting. It was distracting. It was annoying. And I never want to see the UFC change the color of the mat again. Aljo has become the joke Aljo has become a joke, but Aljo also stopped Corey in the first round. His skill ain't bad. Oh, he's a highly skilled fighter, without a doubt. He has great grappling. But I just don't know if he can beat Petr Yan. After that first fight, what we saw, I just don't know if it's possible. Blaze says, I love the gold mat. Somebody back me up here. I hated the gold mat. Somebody, there's got to be people who agree with me, right? Let us know in the chat. Because I hate that gold mat. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I never want to see it again. Disgusting. Also, does anybody think the UFC should give you an option to turn off the commentary and just listen to the fights with the crowd noise? I would love that option on ESPN+. Also, when is the UFC going to offer 4K pay-per-views? We all got 4K TVs now. I want to watch a 4K pay-per-view. Let's see. I'm always worried while we're doing one of these live chats that there's going to be some big breaking news in MMA. Ooh. Nope. Okay, it doesn't look like there's any new news. UFC 300 presents Usman versus Khabib, Colby versus Conor, Jones versus Ngannou, Dana versus Ariel. Sign me up. Sign me up. I'll keep a close eye on the MMA news, my friend. I'm always paranoid. I feel like we're going to be doing this live chat because it's not like I'm perusing news while I'm doing the live chat. But I'm always scared that something big's going to happen while I'm in the chat and I'm not even going to know it. I saved my screenshots of my first ever my super chats. I have them saved on my phone now. If anybody wants to beat Anthony's $14.99 donation, you better do it right now. You better do it right now. Super Saiyan, thank you so much. I hope the channel's going well for you. Blaze Sports laughing. True or false, Joe Rogan can be really biased. True. Yes, he can. That's why I wish, I like Joe Rogan. He's passionate about the sport. But I wish we had an option to turn off the commentary because sometimes the way the commentators are talking, it's so biased. And I know it's hard to call something in real time, but sometimes it's just really, really bad. It's really, really bad. And it's like they already have an idea going in and they just can't foresee, it going any other way. I thought it was particularly bad in the Adesanya versus Jan Blachowicz fight. Bias for Adesanya. And I also noticed when they do a lot of those overseas events, the other commentary team is, pretty biased as well towards like Darren Till and stuff like that. Joey, breaking news: Conor made excuse for losing. Oh, that's hey, we could run that every single day, multiple times a day. He's got arthritis. What's this about? John Anik and custody battle talks during the commentary. That was so strange. Why did he even say that? That is so weird. But I just wish they had the option where we could. I don't want to mute the TV. I want to hear the crowd noise without the commentary. I like the commentary sometimes, but I like to switch back and forth. By the way, guys, if you haven't liked the stream already, go like the stream. It helps support the channel, helps grow the channel, helps recommend it to other people, and I greatly appreciate it. But put some more questions in the chat, guys. Put some more questions. Now you guys are going silent on me. Where are you guys at? Who is still in here? It says 17 people are still in here, but there's nobody sending any chats. Come on, what the hell is going on here? What the hell is going on here? Let's see. Oh, by the way, I thought I heard my phone vibrate. Ariel said Dana had a fighter rough him up years ago. Do you know who it was? I never heard of that. That's crazy. That is crazy. If that's true, that is absolutely insane. Ginge is still here. What I wanted to talk about also, and I have it in the title, and we have not talked about it yet, so I need to get to it, is the UFC 268 main event. And I think that the UFC 268 will probably be Kamaru Usman versus Colby Covington too. I just think that it's around November. Supposedly Aljamain Sterling versus Petr Yan is going to happen on 267 in Abu Dhabi, but we will see. I think that Kamaru Usman versus Colby Covington too, November. MSG if possible. If not, it'll be in Las Vegas. It's got to be. It's got to be. And supposedly, Colby Covington said in an interview, and I don't know if this was him just drumming up something that didn't need to be drummed up, but he said in an interview right after Leon Edwards beat Nate Diaz, the UFC called him up and said, "Yeah, you're getting the next shot." So if that is true, maybe he was just saying that to kind of rub salt in the wound for Leon Edwards. But if that is true, then I was right. I think the UFC was thinking if Leon Edwards beat Nate Diaz impressively, they would go with Leon Edwards next for the title shot, just because of the hype around Leon Edwards from beating Nate Diaz. Nick Diaz versus Lawler prediction. I gotta go with Robbie Lawler. Nick Diaz just been out for so long. I think that Nick Diaz of old could beat Robbie Lawler. Obviously, he beat him years ago. But right now, after being out for so long, it's hard for me to pick him. Meanwhile, Robbie Lawler's been active, even though he's on a skid. It's hard to sit out for that long. Corey versus TJ. TJ seems weird during interviews. Do you think he's trying to convince himself that he's better off the EPO like he claims? Probably. You know what I mean? Let's say he was using EPO for the majority of his career. That's got to fuck up your psychology. If you're wondering, like how am I going to do without the EPO? I think that's going to play a massive role, if true. When Ariel got banned from the UFC a couple years ago, and he did that interview crying, he said Dana did it. That's hilarious. So let me tell you, how I kind of feel about Ariel in that particular situation. So first off, I don't like the way the UFC will ban media members based off the questions they ask. If they're asking tough questions, the UFC will revoke their media credentials. But in my opinion, what was going on with Ariel Helwani is what happens with MMA reporters. If you notice, and some people don't realize this because they don't follow MMA as closely, but if you always notice, throughout the history of the UFC, between the last 10 years or so, there's always one reporter breaking all the UFC news. And the reason that is because the UFC is feeding that news to them. They pick a reporter, essentially a glorified publicist, and they feed them the breaking news and let them break it. Now, if the UFC is thinking about doing something, but they're not sure of the fan reaction, they'll tell the reporter, say, the UFC is considering doing this just to gauge the fan reaction. Now, what happened with Ariel is the UFC, and I suspected this all along, but Ariel since confirmed it, the UFC was signing Ariel Helwani's checks. And on top of signing his checks, they were feeding him all this information to break news. Now, when Ariel Helwani found out that Brock Lesnar was returning, he found that out on his own. The UFC did not feed that to him. He found that out through some source. Somebody leaked it to him, said, hey, Brock Lesnar is going to return at UFC 200. And he went to the UFC and told them, I just found this out. Can I get a comment on it? And they told him, do not break that news. Which, first off, if he's a reporter, they shouldn't be able to tell him, oh, you're not allowed to report that. But since they were the ones signing his checks and they were the one feeding him all his information on the majority of the time, they kind of had him in a bad place, and they said, do not break that news. He broke it anyway, 20 minutes before Dana and the UFC was going to break it. He was pissed, and he took Ariel's media credentials. But since, Ariel had built his name up in the MMA community from doing interviews, breaking a lot of news, he's one of the most well-known reporters, he went on air and he cried about it. And I don't think the UFC should be able to take anyone's job away like that, because essentially they're ending your career. And so I'm kind of on the fence, but I get it because the UFC was signing his checks. So he cried about it. He's well known, and he got his way back, to get his media credentials back. But apparently, this is another bad look for Ariel in general. Ariel then took the job at ESPN. And he never criticized the UFC no matter what they did. Now all of a sudden he leaves ESPN, and the first thing he does is criticize the UFC left and right. All these different criticism after criticism after criticism after criticism. So he looks like a jealous ex-girlfriend. He worked for the UFC and ESPN for years, and then he doesn't say anything bad. And then all of a sudden he leaves, and a day later he's complaining. I just think that's a terrible look for him, not the UFC, no matter what bad stuff he says. When Ariel got fired and banned a couple years... Okay, I already decided that. Do you know any sites that buy, sell UFC memorabilia? I forgot what website I buy my stuff from. I'll have to look that up and let you know. But I don't know any ones that buy. True or false, John Jones can beat Ngannou? I say true. I'm not confident in that, but I think he has the skills to. He's a very well-rounded fighter. And I would love to see that fight, and I hope John Jones returns sooner rather than later. Bro, I heard that Gina Carano and Nick Diaz smashed and Nick and... Okay, I have no idea. That's just rumors, you know. Who knows if that's actually true. Just made a short vid on Dana versus Ariel and ESPN. He did an interview recently recalling his time there. I saw some of those clips. Doesn't it just make Ariel look bad? He looks like a jealous ex-girlfriend. You never criticized them while you were there. Now they're done signing your checks and now you want to criticize? It's weird. How's the channel going, Super Saiyan MMA? I hope it's doing well for you. I hope it's doing well for you. It's hard, but once you get started, it's fun. It's fun. I'm trying to check and make sure I didn't miss any MMA news. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, by the way, I wanted to also talk about who do you guys want to see Gilbert Burns fight next? I'm thinking it should probably be Leon Edwards, but who knows? Okay, more Michael Chandler. I didn't think it's weird because when somebody signs your check, they have a lot of power over you. Yeah, I understand. I didn't mean it's weird in the fact that I don't understand why it's happening, but I just think it's a terrible look. So you cover for someone, meanwhile they're signing your checks. I just think you just leave it because that just shows you're bought and sold. You know what I mean? I think it ruins your credibility. So I feel like he should have kept quiet afterwards. And maybe I'm wrong on that. But I just think for me personally, the second you leave, then, afterwards it's just like, now you criticize. Well, why were you taking money from them if you thought they were that bad? So maybe I'm crazy, but I just think it's a terrible look for you to accept money from a company that is doing all these terrible things and then whine about it afterwards. But I understand why he did it. I just think it's a terrible look. He kind of should have just kept covering MMA the way he was, and maybe slowly instead. It just makes you look like you're a sellout, kind of. But I understand Charlie. I understand Charlie completely. I'd like to see Burns versus Chiesa. Well, Chiesa's fighting Luque pretty soon, and I think it'll be. I think that'll be a very telling fight for, the welterweight division. And if Chiesa wins, then maybe we can see him versus Burns. I think Burns beats the brakes off of Chiesa, though. Yeah, hard, but I love doing the stories and making the vids for them. They get better. Thanks for asking. No problem, man. Dude, it's hard. It's hard. For me, the hardest part is talking to myself on camera. When I'm filming these videos, like right here, I'm talking to you guys. But when I'm filming these videos, I'm trying to get all my thoughts out of my head to you guys. And you don't know how often I end recording a video. I'll be like, dang, I forgot to say this. I forgot to say that. Oh, yeah, I did see that Dana was kicking him out of the building every time. Yeah, maybe it's too fast, but we know there had to be an issue because he didn't leave the MMA journalist, but also just went to a different company. So that told us it wasn't good, I think. Yeah, Burns smashes Chiesa, might be a crime. Yeah, and also he said ESPN offered him a contract to stay, but he decided to leave. And, if ESPN would have offered him enough money, he would have stayed there and he would have never said a word. But I think Dana wanted him gone. ESPN probably offered him a critically low offer, and that's why he didn't return. Travis Brown fought Brendan Schaub when Ronda and Schaub broke up, and Ronda got with Travis. Travis said something to Schaub after he knocked him out. That's hilarious. I forgot about that. Yeah, definitely a childish move, but I don't know. You've seen how that guy is. I'm not a big fan of either guy. I watch. I like Dana can be cool sometimes. Other times, he obviously takes things very, very personal all the time. And whether that's good or bad, that's for you to determine. But he takes a lot of things personal, and once you get on his bad side, he does not like you. Maybe one day, if I can somehow build this channel enough, and I can work for like an MMA website or something, and I can go to the events and ask questions, that would be amazing. So hopefully Dana doesn't hate me yet. I don't want to say anything he's going to hate me. I'm just kidding. But definitely a childish move. Charlie, thanks for joining the live chat, by the way. I appreciate you. Big Rocker Johnson, what's going on, man? I hope you're doing well. Feel free to send a super chat. I'm just messing with you. This is my first monetized live chat, and we've already had a couple donations. One for $15, two for $10, and a couple for $1. I think it was Ginge, Adam, John, and Anthony. I love you guys. I appreciate the support of the channel. Sorry I'm late. Just got out late. No problem, man. Either way, you can watch the replay. And no matter what, I appreciate you stopping by. Moreno dropped Cody Garbrandt as a potential matchup. Thoughts? I don't think he deserves it anytime soon. Ugh, I don't want to see that at all. Cody Garbrandt just lost to Rob Font. He's got to get at least one win at flyweight. I think Askar Askarov's next in line. I know he was supposed to fight Alex Perez. I think he pulled out. But we need to see him next. In the future, I can see you taking over the first question when John Morgan retires. That would be hilarious. Did anybody see Dana White did Ask Me Anything on Reddit? And someone asked him, I don't remember what his answer was, but someone asked him, why do you say who has the first question when it's always John Morgan? And I forgot what he says, but that's a hilarious question for Dana White. Dana has been propping up and talking to the Paul brothers lately. I hope he don't bring them to the UFC, but I see him doing it. Oh, dude, I hate these freak show type fights. Big Rocker Johnson, I appreciate you joining the chat at any point in time, man. Did you watch Tough last night? Gilbert Urbina looked like a monster. No, I did not. I have not watched Tough. I've been meaning to, but it's hard, man. It's hard. There's so much MMA to consume, and I got to record videos. It's hard to watch Tough, so I'll have to keep an eye out for him. Do they know who's going to be in the finals yet, or is that still up in the air, I'm assuming? But I don't want to see Cody Garbrandt has to get a win or two at flyweight before fighting for the flyweight title after coming off. He's lost 3 out of his last 4. Who wants to see him fighting for a title? I know why Moreno wants it, because Cody Garbrandt is the biggest name at flyweight if he drops down. So, what's going on, Alex? I hope you're doing well. Thanks for joining us. As far as the Paul brothers, I don't think Dana's going to bring them in, but who knows? They brought in CM Punk. I say if they got the talent to hang, bring them in. Yeah, I don't think they got the talent to hang in the UFC. I just don't think they do, and I don't think they ever will. But if they can go win a couple of amateur fights and they look impressive, that's fine. They have the semifinals going on right now. Okay, Tough has actually been decent fights this year. I don't want him to bring him in. I don't like that freak show. I want to see the best fight the best. That's what I want to see. I think Logan has a better chance in MMA than Jake. Feed them to Paulo Costa. Yeah, if the UFC brings them in, let them both fight Paulo Costa 2-on-1. That's what I would like to see. But I don't think Dano does that. But who knows? He brought in CM Punk. I wonder if CM Punk's ever going to fight again. What a hilarious... And the problem I have with bringing in these freak show fighters is then they're signing guys who don't belong in the UFC to fight them, which I just don't like at all. I just don't like at all. I find it to be disgusting. And unless they ever actually fight in the UFC, in a real legitimate fight, you'll never hear me make a video about it on this channel. For the most part, I just ignore it. You know, the only reason I even talk about it here is because you guys asked. Better hope Paul isn't drunk. See him rumored to go back to the WWE. Well, there you go. I didn't think the UFC was ever going to give him another fight. I mean, they brought in 2 guys to really lose. And, you know, he lost both of them. They brought in 2 guys to lose to CM Punk, specifically. And CM Punk lost to both of them. So that goes to show his skill level. What's up with Gastelum taking all Acosta's fights? LOL. I think it's hilarious, too. The Whitaker fight, and now the Cannonier fight. Gastelum's getting big fights. You got to respect the guy. And Gastelum comes to fight every single time. They said CM Punk trained BJJ with the Gracies. I remember he was training with Duke Rufus, and they were saying like he was legit. I still can't believe Ben Askren. I can't believe we traded Demetrius Johnson for Ben Askren. Randy Costa versus Adrian Yanez is about to be fire. I already mentioned that earlier in this video when you weren't here. That is my favorite fight on the card other than the main event. I don't know how that's not on the main card. I just don't. That's 2 bantamweight guys who are just great fighters. I think they're great prospects. I can't wait to see where they go. I favor Yanez. Yanez has looked so crisp on the feet, but we got to see him make his way up the ladder. I love that fight. Favorite fight on the card other than TJ versus Sandhagen for sure. Yanez is just great, man. He looks great. And he's been wanting to fight. He wanted to fight on UFC 262, but Costa couldn't make it. And then supposedly there was talk of him at 266, but luckily we're getting him on Saturday night. We get to see where he's at. If he can get him win over Costa, he moves up. I talked about it. Bantamweight division is the best division in the UFC right now. Even guys outside the top 15 are great. And Costa and Yanez are 2 examples of that. I really think they're great fighters, and they're not even in the top 15. So that just goes to show you the depth of the bantamweight division. Guys, throw in some more questions in the chat. I know you guys are still there listening, because we're coming up on 2 hours right now. And my desire is starting to wane, but I need some great questions. What do you guys want to talk about? UFC 265, only a couple weeks away. Main event, Derek Lewis versus Cyril Gane. There's so much stuff to talk about. I'm gonna do another stream on Saturday probably for TJ versus Sanhagen or Corey Sanhagen. But I'm almost getting exhausted here. But if you guys throw out some more questions, I can gladly answer them. The hardest part, you guys will not believe it. The hardest part about doing these live streams is my mouth gets dry from talking so much. You don't know how hard it is to talk for 2 hours straight. I don't know how some people do them for like 4 hours. One of these days, I'm going to do a full fight card stream for like 6 hours and see how it goes. And if you guys don't want to ask any questions, the least you can do is send a super chat. I'm trying to get enough super chat revenue to pay for UFC 265. So Dan Hooker's next fight. Who should Dan Hooker fight next? That is a good question. Probably Tony Ferguson, but I want to see Tony Ferguson versus Nate Diaz, so I'll forget that fight. Dan Hooker doesn't got a lot of great options, I'm going to be honest, because I don't favor him to beat a lot of guys that are left. I think RDA beats the brakes off Dan Hooker. I think Gregor Gillespie is a terrible matchup for Dan Hooker. But give me Gregor Gillespie versus Dan Hooker. Yep, see? I don't think Islam's fighting him next. Now I got the hiccups from drinking too much water. I don't think Islam's fighting him next. I think it's going to be Gregor or RDA and maybe Tony Ferguson. But I don't even want to see that Tony Ferguson fight because I want Tony Ferguson to go fight Nate Diaz. I don't know who. And after that, I mean, the division. I mean, he's not fighting Conor. Conor's off. He could fight Diego Ferreira. But I don't know who else he's fighting after that. I don't know who he's fighting other than those guys. I think it's probably going to be RDA. I don't want to see RDA get back, a quality win at. Let me see something really quick. A quality win at lightweight. Let's see. Where's RDA right now? I forgot what his last fight was. It was against Paul Felder, right? Look at the guy. I mean, you guys. I know a lot of people are forgetting about RDA. But look at the guys he's fought. I'm going to read you his last few fights. So forget the Paul Felder fight. That was a last-minute replacement. It was originally supposed to be Islam. He lost to Michael Chiesa, Leon Edwards. He beat Kevin Lee, and he lost to Kamaru Usman and then Colby Covington back-to-back. So look at the 4 losses he has, right? And let me go over to the rankings. So he lost to the champion at welterweight. He lost to the number 1 guy at welterweight. He lost to the number 3 guy at welterweight, and he lost to the number 5 guy at welterweight. I think RDA, and I might be alone in this opinion, I think RDA still has what it takes to be champion at lightweight. Not at welterweight, at lightweight. I don't think he can ever be champion at welterweight. The guys are just too big for him. But at welterweight, at lightweight, I think he can. Who should Calvin Kattar fight next? Good question, my friend. Who should Calvin Kattar fight next? I don't know, man. He took that beating off Max Holloway. Chan Sung Jung just got back in the win column against Dan Ige. I don't know, man. Maybe Yair Rodriguez, because Yair was supposed to fight Max Holloway, but Max Holloway had to pull out with an injury. We don't know how long he's going to be out. So he can maybe fight Yair. I like that matchup. I think Yair hasn't fought enough top flight competition, right, to be where he's at right now. I think he looks great, but look what Frankie Edgar did to him not that long ago. Or Arnold Allen, yeah, agreed. Arnold Allen would be another great test. Who did Arnold Allen just fight? I can't remember. Now I got to Google it. I know he just beat someone, but I can't remember who it was. Sadiq Yusuf. That was a quality win, too. I was a big believer in Sadiq Yusuf. So I think that probably makes the most sense. Calvin Kattar versus Arnold Allen. I think you guys are right. Arnold Allen's an upcoming guy. He needs a win over a quality guy, and Calvin Kattar is that guy. And Calvin Kattar needs to get back in the win column. I'd love to see that fight. That makes a lot of sense. Paige and Rachel are too beautiful to be fighting in bare knuckle. Yeah, bare knuckles are just a freak show. I don't even watch bare knuckle. But I think Calvin Kattar needs to take some serious time off. That was just a bludgeoning by Max Holloway. It was a bad beatdown by Max Holloway in that fight. But we'll see. I think you guys are right. Calvin Kattar versus Arnold Allen should be next. Arnold Allen doesn't have a fight book, does he? Let's see. No, I don't think so. Nope, he does not have a fight book. Didn't Arnold Allen, I remember, isn't it crazy? Arnold Allen has a win over Gilbert Melendez. Look how far Gilbert Melendez fell off. Gilbert Melendez was championship caliber. He got caught cheating. Holy shit. Guys, you want to hear something crazy? I did not realize this. Gilbert Melendez, I'm about to blow your guys' mind. Gilbert Melendez has 1 win in the UFC, and he only beat Diego Sanchez. They should go co-main event on the Till versus Brunson card in England. That wouldn't be a bad idea. And that's a quality fight, too. You have the upcoming guy fighting the more established guy. When is that fight card? I forgot. I think it's in September. That'd probably be enough time off for Kattar at that point in time. But still, after that beating, I'd like to see him sit off till next year. That was a brutal beatdown. But Gilbert Melendez only had 1 win in the UFC, and it was against Diego Sanchez. He lost to Benson Henderson in a close fight. He got submitted by Anthony Pettis. He lost by decision to Eddie Alvarez. He lost to Edson Barboza, lost to Jeremy Stevens, and lost to Arnold Allen. That is crazy. Gilbert Melendez, did he retire from MMA? No, he was released by the UFC in November 2019. I know he got caught cheating at one point in time, but I don't remember when that was. He tested positive for performance-enhancing drugs. In those 1 year today. Yeah, he was suspended for 1 year in 2015, it looked like. What's up with Ali keeping Justin from fighting Chandler? That dude is just keeping good fights from happening. I'm not for sure. I think he's trying to look for Islam to get the Chandler fight. And then Gaethje, he wants Gaethje to sit around and maybe get a title fight. I'll tell you this right now, though. I was thinking about this earlier today. RDA is going to get a big fight next. Whether it's Islam or whoever. Whoever they usually have as a backup for a big fight, and they had RDA as a backup for Conor versus... Hold on, I got to sneeze. All right, went away. Now it's back again. I hate that when you almost have to sneeze, but it doesn't happen. Whoever they usually has a backup for a big fight like Conor versus Poirier, they don't pay them as much because they're just a backup. All they're doing is showing up to weigh in. But they're like, this guy did me a solid. We're going to give him a big fight next. So RDA, look out for RDA. He might get a big fight next. Next thing you know, we might get Justin Gaethje versus Rafael dos Anjos. I don't know. We can get Chandler versus Islam, Rafael dos Anjos versus Justin Gaethje. Which isn't the matchup that I would want, but I would want them reversed. I want Gaethje versus Chandler. It's just it's the biggest fight right now for them two. Both. Let's see. High risk fight for Gaethje. Very true. I think Gaethje wins though. RDA versus Islam is going to be a mauling. Colby got him bad. Islam probably worse. Thoughts? I disagree. For me, I just haven't seen Islam be able to do that to a top flight competitor yet. So I would pick RDA. But I always talk about this. RDA got dominated by Khabib on the prelims. We saw RDA fight Khabib on the prelims years ago. And he got dominated in the wrestling aspect. I just don't know if Islam is as big as Colby, Kamaru, Usman. And, RDA was able to at least be competitive in those fights. So I think we could see a scenario where RDA beats Islam. I'm not confident in that by any means. But I think it's possible. I think Justin versus Chandler happens. If not, Beneil fights Michael Chandler. Yeah, I think, honestly... And I go back and forth in a lot of this. I think we get Islam versus Beneil Dariush next. Because I think Beneil Dariush is the most beatable guy in the top three. And it gets Islam a big fight with a little bit lower risk. I think he can beat Beneil Dariush. And not that I think Beneil Dariush is an easy fight. I just think he's a little bit more manageable than some of the other guys. RDA versus Islam should headline a fight night on the Fight Island during their trip there in October. They had that fight booked twice last year and it fell out. The first time RDA fell out, second time Islam fell out, if I remember correctly. By the way, anybody watching this stream right now, make sure you like the stream. What UFC fighter has the most intimidating persona? I don't know. I don't know, Ginge. I have no idea. I don't even know. Who has the most intimidating persona? I don't think any of them really. Maybe Francis Ngannou, but it's not a persona. He just got the most intimidating style, so that doesn't answer your question. I don't think anybody does. There's nobody that has a really intimidating persona. It's all about the same to me. Chandler versus Islam would be interesting, but I don't think the UFC books it. I think that's a really bad matchup for Islam. I think, if he defends the takedown, which I think he would be able to, I think Islam's in a lot of trouble on the feet. Kutalaba, no. It's hard when, you have a guy that's been, recently KO'd, and maybe Khalil Roundtree. Khalil Rountree's an absolute psychopath. He looks like a psychopath. I'd be scared of Khalil Roundtree. He kind of freaks me out. Art of penetration. No, I'm just kidding. Art of pretension. Paul versus Woodley prediction. I'll go Woodley. But I don't care about it, to be honest. It's just freak show to me. I mean, I love the best versus the best. That's what got me into the sport. Not, YouTubers, boxing, former washed up fighters. But thanks for joining the chat, Art of Pretension. I appreciate you. Rusimar Palhares, good answer. Have you guys seen how jacked Rusimar Palhares was recently? Which card are you more interested in, 265 or 266? Probably 266. I think 266 has some serious quality, but they're both great cards. I love both of those cards. Palhares was just ripping those knee locks. I loved watching Palhares. I wish he wouldn't have been holding those submissions for too long. I would have loved to have seen how he did in the UFC, but he just kept grabbing them and holding them for too long, and it's just, Dana White wasn't having it. They cut his ass. So, and did you see he was definitely using steroids? Did you guys see what he started to look like after the fact? Let me see. You know what? Matter of fact, let me see if I can put the picture up on the screen. I saved it to my computer at one point in time. We talked about this before. Image. Let's see if I can find this. Browse. Downloads. I'm looking for this picture of Palhares right now. All right, here we go. I found it. Guys, look at Palhares here. Look at Palhares. Guys, look at Palhares. Was he using steroids? This was like 2 years ago from his Instagram. Was he using steroids or what? That's him on the left-hand side in case you don't recognize him. Did he decide to use steroids after he left the UFC or what? Look at the size of that man. Look at that guy. Look at that guy. How massive is Palhares there? Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Let's get rid of that. Let's transition back. And let's get out of there. Get rid of that. Okay, guys. So there was Palhares. Yes, I know, right? It's just absolutely insane. He was definitely injecting steroids. I wouldn't doubt if he was doing it the majority of the time he was in the UFC. It was just insane how big he got. And, the fact he was a dirtball. He went over to PFL, or I think technically it might have been World Series of Fighting at the time, and he started holding submissions for too long over there, too, and they eventually cut him as well. He defeated, I think it was John Finch, knee bar, and held it for too long. Works Kimura, I can't remember. But the guy's a total sleazeball. I don't understand why he acted like that. He could have had a big career in the UFC, and he ruined it just so he could hold submissions for too long. I don't get it. I genuinely believe there was something mentally wrong in his head. The guy was literally out there trying to hurt people. I wouldn't want to be put in an armbar by him. He's just wrenching it as hard as he can and holding it past the referee stoppage. Weird. I would not want to fight him. So, do you guys remember when Alan Belcher just beat the brakes off of him? He was playing that knee bar game. Joe Rogan's like, get out of there, get out of there. Alan Belcher kept playing in the guard and just started beating the living shit out of Palhares, put him out cold from the guard. I was happy to see that happen. It couldn't have happened to a nicer person. Apparently out of the cage, he's a very nice guy. Just something snaps when he's in the cage. He got traumatized by batterings. He was a kid. Plan on going to a live show soon. I'm hoping I can go to MSG card if it happens. I don't know yet. I want to go to an event in Las Vegas. But also, I wouldn't. MSG isn't too far from me. Like, I'm not in New York, but I'm only a couple hours away. I've been to one MSG card, but I'll probably my next event will probably be in Las Vegas. I've always wanted to travel there and go see an event. I don't really like the idea of flying, but I'm just going to have to suck it up. I've flown before. I'm just going to have to suck it up and make it out to an event. Nate's announcement for MSG fight. He recently tweeted a pic saying for the title, if he fights Usman, that would not be a good matchup at all. And I'm a Diaz fan. If Nate Diaz fights Kamaru Usman for the title, I am not watching that pay-per-view. I will not pay for that pay-per-view. That would be disgusting. Usman will absolutely destroy Nate Diaz. I would bet my house on it. Unless he, has stress fractures in his leg. I'm clearly kidding. Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it, John. It's just a matter of what event. What event am I going to? Maybe I can get some press credentials. I'm gonna say I got 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. Give me press credentials. Let me go ask some questions. I mean, that pink suit guy is an absolute legend. You've won one fight in 5 years. How can we expect anything different from you on Saturday night? Hilarious. I really wanted to, if they were going to do it this year, Jones versus Ngannou, I was going to try to go see that one. Yeah, I would love to see Charles Oliveira versus Dustin Poirier live too. There's so many great fights coming up. The UFC has really been stacking the cards lately. And I think this pandemic has helped us get better quality cards. Because I think the UFC is stacking a lot of these cards because they're having so many fights fall off. So they need a quality card in case some fights fall off. And then sometimes, like in the case of UFC 259, none of the fights fell off. So we got a crazy banger card. Charles versus Dustin would be, yeah, okay, I already read that. Yeah, without a doubt, it would be an amazing fight card. If that reporter was a senior citizen, Conor would have assaulted him. Yeah, that guy was about 25 years too young. Otherwise, Conor would have punched him right in the face. Let's see. All right, guys. It's been over 2 hours and 11 minutes. I've answered a million questions. My throat is getting sore. Maybe I'll do a live stream tomorrow. I don't know. I'll almost definitely do a live stream for TJ Dillashaw versus Corey Sandhagen. Fight watch along. That's going to be a very interesting main event. Usman versus Colby should happen at MSG with Rose versus Carla as co-main event. Yeah, I think that's what I've already talked about. We'll get UFC 268 will probably be Usman versus Colby too. And as long as they're allowed to fill the arena, I think it's going to be at MSG in November. But we'll see. But anyway, guys, Big Rocker Johnson, John, Super Saiyan, Robert Rutherford, thank you all for joining me. John, Ginge, Adam, and Anthony, thank you guys so much for the super chats. I appreciate your support. Your donations to the channel were very, very awesome. This was the first time I ever got donations on my channel. This is the first live stream I've ever done being monetized. Regardless, I appreciate you guys no matter what, just for joining the chat. I always appreciate talking to you guys. I may do a stream tomorrow. We may just do a stream tomorrow. I've been trying to do more streams per week. A couple weeks ago, I did like 3 streams. So I've been trying to do like once or twice a week streaming. And you guys seem to enjoy it. But I think that wraps it up for this stream. If there's any breaking news that comes out, I'll do a video on it so you guys can watch that. I appreciate you guys supporting the channel. And I will talk to you guys in the next video. See ya. Everybody take care. And make sure you like the video. If you're watching this replay, comment down below and let me know that you're watching the replay. I'm curious if someone goes and watches this entire 2 hour and 13-minute stream. So comment down below. Don't forget to like the stream. Appreciate every single one of you. And goodbye. Good night.